And this book contains
All my scribbles.
all of your thoughts, your lyrics.
I wrote 97 songs.
Wait, what? When you write these songs, you write them down in a book.
Yeah, well, it was my first time doing it. I started writing for this album in 2021, and I just wanted to write my ideas down, and so I went down to CVS and I just bought a random notebook.
She's not the only one who puts her ideas down on paper. I've heard artists like Eminem say they do the same. Many artists prefer using pen and paper over technology. They find that ideas flow more easily when they physically engage with writing instruments. Also, it's a good practice to write down your ideas to revisit them later. Otherwise, we can't hold on to them forever in our minds.
What's your daily schedule like?
Oh, I'm obsessed with my schedule.
Oh, good, okay.
Because I plan everything. Like, I'd put in, have a shower and
No.
go.
Come on, is it really showers on there?
Get ready, and you know, everything is like down to the minute.
Many artists actually schedule everything because they need to make time for their art. If they don't, they might get lost in distractions like scrolling through social media. By the end of the day or even the week, they realize they haven't been able to create anything. That's why it's important to be mindful of your time and how you use it.
So even your fun is scheduled.
Well, I need to like plan things. So in order for me to be able to like do work and take care of me, I like to plan things, and that way I feel like I can do it all. I like being in control.
Have you always been like that, even as a kid?
Yeah, I had to-do lists like from when I was tiny. Like my parents would find them around the house of do my homework, get ready.
Even though it might seem stressful, she's kinda right. When you don't schedule how you're gonna spend your time, external factors will schedule it for you. They'll dictate how you should spend your day, and an artist definitely doesn't want to lose control of their life.
But that's pretty impressive. And this is like, it's kind of, nowadays it seems like people just like kind of hum the song into their phone, or they just type the lyrics in. It's very old fashioned in a way.
Yeah, I loved, when I started it, then I couldn't stop. And now I feel very lucky to have it.
And that's why artists swear by the power of pen and paper. It's as if you're inviting things to happen. You're inviting the muse to flow ideas through that pen and paper to you. I don't know why. Maybe one reason is that when you try not to find a shortcut, the muse notices it and gives you wonderful stuff. When you write them on paper, it's a signal that you don't want to do less and find shortcuts. As Rick Rubin says, you're willing to give it more.
Are any of them terrible? Like you look
Yes.
back and, oh, they are?
Lots.
Really?
About like 80 of them.
Oh, really?
I'm a perfectionist, but I'm also deeply aware of how this mindset can prevent one from taking action altogether. You don't want to wait your whole life for one perfect song to magically appear from nowhere, because it won't. The process is like this. You start scribbling, not caring if it's good or not, just writing to pave the way for better songs to come. This action is called the Creativity Faucet. Ed Sheeran calls it that way. He says that when you open the faucet, the first water that comes isn't clean, but as it continues flowing, it will get cleaner. And that's true for any creative act. That's why while Dua knows what she writes isn't good, she just keeps doing it. And who knows, maybe that ugly sentence or word you wrote there will one day become the theme of your song when you revisit it.
You know, the second I write a song, I know whether it's good or not, or whether it's close to being good, and then I would rework it. And every song on this album, unlike any of the other records that I've made, like I've gone in and I've rewritten it over and over again until I felt like it was perfect.
That's why there are no shortcuts, as Rick Rubin says. You have to put a lot of work into making it. Some artists say they don't have trouble getting ideas for their songwriting, but I've also heard many say they don't wait for inspiration to hit. They have to work on it. Each time they write a song, they work on it until it becomes less terrible, eventually reaching a point where they can be satisfied with it.
Now this time around, I'm like, much more confident in myself as a songwriter and as a performer and how I want things to be and sound and look. And so I just went in and I just digged a little deeper and I changed things to the point that it felt perfect to me, and I feel proud of it. And
It often begins like this. You hear a song you like, and then you find yourself listening to it repeatedly. Eventually, your curiosity extends beyond just the music to the artist behind it. This marks the connection phase. You're intrigued not only by the work itself, but by the person creating it. That's why artists should strive to make their work as personal as possible. It paves the way for establishing a personal connection. This is why the personal is the universal. Despite our diverse experiences and perspectives, we all navigate similar struggles. When you write a song, the likelihood of it resonating with at least one person is incredibly high, even if it's just one individual.
A song that I heard that changed my life. I've always loved singing and performing and writing, and I never really sat down and wrote a song until I was about 14 or 15 years old properly. My dad says that I wrote my first song when I was about 3 or 4.
Here are some key takeaways. Firstly, as children or young people, we often pursue interests vigorously. However, as we grow older, we tend to let these enjoyable pursuits fade away. Some individuals like Dua Lipa continue to nurture their interests until they transform them into professional careers. However, many people may not be fully aware of this potential pathway. In my mind, there are 2 possible reasons why you're watching this video. Firstly, you might be a fan of Dua Lipa and simply curious about how she writes her beautiful songs without a real interest in songwriting yourself. Secondly, you might have a passion for songwriting, perhaps as a hobby you indulge in from time to time. For those in the latter category, I have one more thing to say. If you're passionate about songwriting as a hobby, it might be time to consider turning it into a profession. I borrowed this idea from the legendary writer Steven Pressfield, who suggests that if we truly love what we do, we should commit to it full time. Because the passion for it is already inside you and you may not even realize it. Here's a quote from Amy Krauss Rosenthal that further emphasizes my point. For anyone trying to discern what to do with their life, pay attention to what you pay attention to. That's pretty much all the info you need.
I was always, keeping a diary or writing, my thoughts in forms of poems or essays, and because I had so many notes and little bits written down, that's still kind of how I write to this day, where I take those notes and I go to the studio and I read back the notes, and if I still feel like they're relevant to me today, then I will write a song about it.
That's how she nurtures her passion, by tending to it diligently. When you invest time and effort into your passion, it's akin to signaling to the muse that you're prepared to dedicate yourself fully. And in return, the muse may surprise you with unexpected bursts of inspiration. Here, I have shared all her secrets along with my key takeaways. I hope you found them inspiring. My sole aim is to inspire you as an inspiring artist, so stay with me for more surprises in the future. Since I mentioned Ed Sheeran's ideas for songwriting, why not explore the full video about his secrets as well? Thanks for your time.